So is now a good time to buy a house? Well, it depends on your situation, and I'm going to dive into that further in this video. Hi, my name is Trace, and I've bought and sold multiple personal residences, all by the age of 30. I work in commercial real estate, and I try and help people via my YouTube channel. I have nothing to sell you, and I hope that what I share with you today can help you in your everyday life and improve your own financial situation. Having said that, I still recommend you speak to a realtor in your area if you're serious about buying a home. A realtor can help guide you through your local market and speak to local trends better than any YouTube video could ever do. So, I'm not a realtor, but I do have a real estate license here in California, and I work in commercial real estate. Now, in regards to realtors, one word of caution as the housing market continues to decline and realtors get more hungry. Advice may not be as great as when the market is booming. Remember, they essentially eat what they kill. Most are fully commissioned individuals, so they're motivated to get deals done, which may not always play out in your favor. And it may not be the best advice at the time, especially in a down market. Now, keep in mind, they do have a fiduciary duty to act in your best interest, but that's not always the case. My recommendation would be to use a more senior realtor when buying a house. And the reason being is that they will usually have enough money in the bank and won't have the urgent need to close your deal. And they can play more of an advisor role and give you good advice while buying or looking for a home in your area. They'll truly be a good advisor. After all, they're a bit older and they have likely lived through downturns before. So the older agents usually have a better pulse on the market and can guide you through downturns. There also won't be as many buyers right now since the market's declining, so they'll likely have more time to focus on you rather than multiple clients. Opposite is true for when you're looking to sell. Look for a younger realtor, hopefully, on a team with a senior guy who is hungry and needs the sale to happen. Again, the younger guy eats what he kills, so he'll be more motivated to do in-person showings, schedule open houses, do market outreach, and really hammer the phones to make a deal happen. Essentially, he or she will need to sell your home, and they'll be even more motivated to get it done sooner than a senior agent who may also be spread thin between a lot of listings. Now, keep in mind, you're gonna wanna find a junior guy or girl who is on a team. That way, the senior agent will still be there to guide the deal and make sure that you're in good hands and guide through the escrow process. Look, I'm not gonna try and sugarcoat it. We are in a rocky time right now, and most people would say now is not the time to buy a home, and certainly not the time to try and sell one. And while I do agree, I also think it depends on the person and the situation that you are in. So what do I mean by that? Well, for example, let's say you are starting a family and you need more space, or maybe you have really high rent right now and the mortgage would actually be a cheaper monthly cost for you, which was the case for me when I first bought my personal residence. And in those situations or similar situations, it might make sense to buy something. After all, a fixed mortgage is a great hedge against inflation and rising rents in your area, since it keeps your monthly payments essentially the same for up to 30 years, with taxes and HOA changing over time, but the base payments of your monthly mortgage will basically remain the same. On the flip side though, you can get locked into a mortgage in a declining economy, so make sure it's a good deal before you buy anything. So how do you do that? Well, there are ways to monitor the market and find a good deal, which I'll cover more in a moment, but don't try and base your real estate decision right now off of how your stock market portfolio is doing. Look, I've never been one to try and predict or even really monitor little short-term swings or differences in the stock market. I don't really have an opinion about which index is better at any one time. And I often find myself investing in real estate anyway, regardless of how the market's doing. And keep in mind, real estate has historically outperformed the S&P 500 in most cases. So while I do pay attention to the stock market on a long-term basis, I don't really pay attention to short-term volatility. And the reason is I'm not really trying to predict the stock market or even predict the short-term real estate market to a degree. And I'll touch on that more in a second. But of course, it's always best practice to run your numbers and check comps in your area, as well as different trends, because there will be periods of pain and there will also be periods of boom in real estate. And you have to learn to live through the pain and position yourself in a way to lessen the blow while then capitalizing on the boom. So what do I mean by all this? Well, let's say you've decided to buy. Even in today's declining market, you identify several properties you're interested in, and you narrow the list down to a couple that you're really interested in. Well, here's how you can get a good deal even in today's declining market. Realtor, try and get a sense from the selling agents which sellers are more motivated to sell. And you can do that by just asking a couple questions. Have any had a sale that fell out of escrow? How long have the properties been on the market, which you can also see on Zillow or Redfin? Are the sellers actually living there today, or have they already moved? Because if they've already moved, they maybe moved for a job or something else, and they might be more motivated. Have they lost their job? Or have they recently gotten married where the two individuals are moving elsewhere? Usually you can get a pretty good sense and indication using these insights, and that'll help strengthen your case and negotiating power to get a better deal. Now remember, on one hand, one issue that buyers are gonna face today is inflated asset prices. And while we've seen some prices start to drop in the recent months and weeks, I believe we still have a way to go before they truly bottom out. But that's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue that most buyers are gonna face today are rates. Rates keep rising, and this week they topped 6%, which is the highest level since 2008. And if you remember correctly, 2008 was the last housing crisis. So if you're new to home buying, essentially a higher rate means that it's gonna be more expensive for you to borrow money or a mortgage, and the overall monthly cost will be a lot higher now than when it was, say, last December. And I have very little doubt that the Fed is gonna keep raising rates rather than lowering rates until one of these three things happen in the market. One, unemployment starts to really tick up. Two, a large decline in the stock market. And I don't mean like a little movement, I mean a big decline. Or three, inflation spins out of control. At the moment, none of these things are really happening, yet. Sure, markets are going down. This was a wild week, but the Fed really doesn't care if they go down 15 to 20% in several months. They do, however, care if the market goes down that much in just a few days, which isn't happening right now, but that is what we saw in 2008. Now, the July jobs numbers and presumably August, were still very strong, and inflation is still high, although it is starting to come down a little bit. So in my opinion, a lot of people shouldn't really buy homes right now. While you may be able to afford it, rates are very high comparably to the last few years, and home affordability is still an issue for most people. And on top of all that, we're already likely dipping into a recession, which could impact your ability to make mortgage payments if, God forbid you lose your job or your spouse does. On top of that, home values are likely to go down or face a correction. And there are growing warning signs right now nationwide. It's not specific to one particular market. My absolute best advice right now, and it's the same advice that I've given to close family members, that is to wait out the storm for now. Save your money, be ready to pounce when the rates and property values come down, and be ready when good deals really do start to pop up in the market. There are some now, but it's gonna be better to wait. That way you can jump on it. Only buy a house or condo right now if you really need it and you can get a good deal for it. And that is my takeaway. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I'm gonna be posting a lot more real estate and investment videos coming soon. So please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next video.